It always happens when you least expect it. Imagine waking in the dark of night, half asleep, your body unsteady. You rise from bed, shuffle toward the bathroom, and suddenly your leg gives way. The floor tilts beneath you. You stumble, crash against the dresser, and for a split second your entire independence hangs in the balance. Falls like these are not rare. In fact, they are one of the leading causes of injury and hospitalization for adults over 60. But what if I told you this frightening moment isn't always just the result of getting older or weaker bones? Sometimes the hidden culprit lies in something far simpler, something that happens every single night before you even close your eyes. As a neurologist who has spent decades studying seniors' health, I have seen countless patients come into my office after terrifying nighttime falls. At first glance, the obvious answer seems to be arthritis, osteoporosis, or nerve damage. But often when I dig deeper, I find the root cause is surprisingly overlooked, a subtle bedtime habit that robs the legs of their natural strength and balance. This is the silent danger I want to expose today. You see, while most people think of muscle weakness as a daytime issue, fatigue from walking, struggling with stairs, difficulty rising from a chair, many do not realize that the body's most intense period of muscle repair and growth actually happens at night. While you sleep, growth hormones rise, proteins knit torn fibers back together, and circulation works to flush waste from tired muscles. But here is the truth. Few people are told a single wrong choice before bed can sabotage this entire recovery cycle, leaving your legs weaker and more fragile every morning. Picture Mrs. Hahn, age 72, a retired teacher who came to me after falling in her hallway at 3 a.m. She was healthy, active, and even enjoyed daily walks with her friends. But she had a routine most seniors would never question: drinking a warm, sweetened tea before bed. For years she thought it helped her relax. What she didn't realize was that this habit was quietly impairing her muscle recovery, spiking her insulin, and leaving her legs vulnerable at the very time she needed strength most. When we adjusted this simple routine, her nighttime balance improved drastically within weeks. This is why I am here to sound the alarm. Weak legs are not an unavoidable destiny of aging. More often than not, they are the predictable result of small, hidden bedtime behaviors that drain your strength silently over months and years. Before we dive in, let me pause and speak directly to you. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. And please help me understand if this content truly serves you. If you find this video useful, type 1 in the comments below. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can do better. Your feedback guides every word I share. So, let's begin. Today I'm going to walk you through 9 of the most common bedtime mistakes, foods, drinks, and habits that quietly drain your leg strength and muscle power while you sleep. Each one will surprise you. Each one is rooted in real medical science, and each one has cost my patients their independence, their confidence, and in some cases, their safety. If the thought of waking up weaker tomorrow than you are today frightens you, then stay with me, because what you learn in the next few minutes could protect your legs, your freedom, and perhaps even your life. And the first hidden thief of your muscle strength begins with a slow but relentless process, the gradual drain of muscle power that accelerates every decade after 60. Let me show you exactly how it unfolds and why one small bedtime habit can make it so much worse. Every person over 60 faces the same invisible battle, the gradual drain of muscle power that accelerates as the years pass. Doctors call it sarcopenia, the medical term for age-related muscle loss. You might notice it subtly at first. Carrying groceries feels heavier. Climbing a flight of stairs leaves you breathless, or rising from a chair takes more effort than it once did. These are not isolated inconveniences. They are early warning signs that your muscles are shrinking, weakening, and struggling to repair themselves. Biologically, the body changes in ways that work against you. After the age of 60, the natural ability to synthesize protein declines by nearly 30%. That means even if you eat the same meal you did at 40, your body doesn't rebuild muscle tissue as effectively. Add to this the decline in growth hormone and testosterone production, and the result is a slow erosion of strength, balance, and independence. Yet here's the chilling truth. One seemingly harmless bedtime routine can accelerate this process dramatically, stripping away muscle faster than biology alone. I recall a patient named Mr. Raymond, age 68, a retired carpenter, who came to me complaining that his legs felt like rubber every morning. He had not changed his diet drastically. He was still relatively active, walking daily in his neighborhood. But when I examined him, I found his leg strength had diminished far beyond what I would expect for his age. His story revealed the hidden pattern. Every night just before bed, he enjoyed a bowl of sweet cereal, something he had done for decades. It seemed innocent, even comforting. But what happened inside his body was far from harmless. That sugar-rich snack caused a sharp rise in insulin right before sleep. Instead of allowing growth hormone to peak and fuel muscle repair, his body was busy managing the glucose surge. Protein synthesis stalled, fat storage increased, and his muscles were deprived of their chance to recover overnight. In just a few years of maintaining this habit, his once strong carpenter's legs had weakened to the point that standing from a low chair became a struggle. This is the trap many seniors fall into, believing that small indulgences before bed have no lasting consequences. But when your body is already fighting against age-related protein loss, these nightly choices act like pouring water on a dying flame. The fire of muscle power flickers out much faster. So let me ask, have you ever woken up feeling weaker than when you went to bed? Have you noticed that morning stiffness or loss of balance seems to creep in more quickly these days? If so, it may not just be age catching up with you. It could be your bedtime routine quietly stealing strength from your legs. And if the idea of sugar sabotaging your muscles surprised you, wait until you discover the next silent danger, something so common in late-night snacks that most people don't even question it. It's not sweet at all. In fact, it's something far more hidden: salt. Most people worry about sugar, but few realize that salt, especially the kind hidden in late-night snacks, can be just as destructive to your muscle strength. You may think I don't add much salt to my food. But the truth is, seniors are often exposed to sodium in ways they don't recognize: crackers, instant noodles, canned soups, even low-fat microwave popcorn. These foods become an easy comfort in the evening hours. Yet when consumed before bed, they set off a cascade of damage that leaves your legs weaker by morning. Here's what happens inside the body. Sodium pulls water into the bloodstream, raising fluid volume and placing extra strain on the kidneys. For younger people, the body can handle this stress. But as you age, kidney function naturally declines, making it harder to excrete the excess salt. This hidden overload leads to nighttime dehydration within the muscle fibers themselves. When muscles are deprived of water, they contract less efficiently. Circulation slows and recovery during sleep is severely impaired. Instead of waking refreshed, you rise with legs that feel heavy, stiff, and drained of power. I will never forget one of my patients, Mrs. Alvarez, age 74. She was a grandmother who loved hosting her family for dinner, and her evenings often ended with a bowl of instant noodles, just something quick and warm before bed, she told me. Over the years, she began noticing sharp cramps in her calves that woke her in the night. At first, she blamed arthritis. Then she assumed it was just old age. But during our evaluation, her blood pressure was elevated, her hydration levels were poor, and her muscle tone had visibly diminished. The real culprit: those nightly sodium-laden noodles. Once she swapped them for a light protein snack and increased her magnesium intake, the cramps disappeared and her leg strength improved within weeks. This isn't an isolated story. Studies confirm that older adults with higher sodium intake often suffer reduced muscle performance, slower walking speed, and even greater risk of falls. The danger is not simply the salt itself, it's the timing. A salty snack right before bed leaves the muscles dehydrated for the very hours they need the most fluid to rebuild and repair. Imagine trying to patch a roof with no tools. That's what your muscles attempt to do each night if you go to bed with high sodium levels in your system. So let me turn this question back to you. Do you ever wake up with tight calves, a stiff lower back, or a strange heaviness in your legs? Do you chalk it up to sleeping in the wrong position? It may not be your bed at all. It could be that late-night bag of chips or light snacks silently draining your strength while you sleep. And here's the most unsettling part: if salt shocked you, the next bedtime mistake might surprise you even more. It's not food at all, but something millions of seniors enjoy every evening without realizing it silently blocks the very hormone that fuels overnight muscle repair. For many people, the evening feels incomplete without a comforting cup of tea or coffee. It's a ritual: brewing a pot of green tea, sipping black tea with honey, or even having a small espresso after dinner. You may think, what harm could one cup do? After all, tea is full of antioxidants, and coffee has been linked to longevity in countless studies. But here is the part few seniors are warned about: caffeine, even in small amounts, can quietly sabotage the very process your body depends on to rebuild muscle overnight. Here's the science. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, a powerful natural signal that tells your muscles: repair, rebuild, grow stronger. This nightly surge is crucial because it gives your legs a fighting chance against the inevitable decline of aging. But caffeine lingers in the bloodstream for hours, long after you've set your cup aside. Even if you fall asleep, caffeine can block deep, slow-wave sleep, flattening the growth hormone spike and leaving your muscles shortchanged. The result? Night after night, your legs miss out on essential recovery, slowly losing the power you need for balance walking and independence. Let me tell you about Mr. Thompson, age 70, a retired bus driver. He came to me frustrated that his legs felt weaker despite doing resistance exercises faithfully 3 times a week. He was determined not to lose his mobility, but progress seemed painfully slow. When I reviewed his habits, one detail stood out. He drank 2 cups of green tea every evening, believing it was healthier than coffee. What he didn't know was that green tea still contains caffeine enough to suppress his deep sleep cycles. In effect, his workouts were being undone each night by his own bedtime routine. When we adjusted his tea time to morning and encouraged herbal caffeine-free options in the evening, the results were dramatic. Within months, his strength training finally paid off, and he could stand from low chairs with far more ease. This is the danger. Caffeine doesn't just keep you awake, it robs your muscles of their repair window. For seniors already losing protein synthesis efficiency with age, this effect is magnified. Imagine trying to build a house when the construction crew is forced to leave halfway through the job every single night. Over time, the structure weakens. That's what happens inside your body when caffeine interrupts growth hormone release. Now, let me ask you directly. Do you drink tea or coffee after dinner, believing it's harmless? Do you wake up groggy with legs that feel heavier than they should? The connection may not be obvious, but your evening cup could be stealing your muscle recovery silently, night after night. And if you think caffeine is the last thing to worry about, wait until you hear about the next bedtime relaxation ritual. Many seniors swear by it to calm their nerves, but the truth is, it erases hours of muscle repair in a single night. I'm talking about alcohol, the silent muscle thief hiding in plain sight. A glass of wine, a shot of whiskey, even just half a beer. For many seniors, a nightcap feels like a harmless way to relax, fall asleep faster, and ease the mind after a long day. But here's the unsettling truth. Alcohol, even in small evening amounts, acts as a silent muscle thief. While it may lull you into sleep more quickly, it sabotages the very phases of rest that your body needs to repair and strengthen your legs. Here's why. When alcohol enters the bloodstream, the liver works overtime to metabolize it. This process directly interferes with your body's natural cycles of deep sleep, particularly the critical REM and slow wave stages. Those are the moments when growth hormone surges, when muscle fibers knit back together, and when your body restores balance. Alcohol blunts those restorative processes. Even worse, alcohol dehydrates muscle tissue, drawing water away from cells and leaving them brittle, weak, and more prone to cramps by morning. I think of Mrs. Lang, age 66, who came to my clinic after experiencing frequent falls. She was otherwise healthy and prided herself on her evening walks. But she admitted that she always enjoyed a single glass of red wine before bed, believing it was heart-healthy and safe. Over the years, she noticed her legs felt heavy each morning, her balance was worse, and her recovery after minor exercise slowed dramatically. Tests showed her muscle mass had declined faster than expected for her age. Once she stopped her nightly wine and replaced it with calming herbal tea, her balance improved within weeks and her leg strength stabilized. The problem is not alcohol itself in moderation, it's the timing. Consumed earlier in the day, the body has time to process it before the critical hours of sleep. But consumed before bed, alcohol robs the muscles of recovery every single night. Think about it. Would you accept losing 3 to 4 hours of muscle repair nightly just for a few minutes of calm? Over months and years, this adds up to a devastating loss of strength, often blamed on aging, when in fact it's preventable. Let me put this question to you. Do you wake up at night with leg cramps or notice your morning walks feel heavier than they once did? Do you rely on alcohol to help you sleep? If so, the drink you believe is helping you relax may be quietly draining the very muscle power that protects your independence. And as shocking as alcohol's effects are, the next bedtime mistake is even more insidious. It doesn't come from what you eat or drink, but from something you do while sitting in front of the television. It's the hours of stillness before bedtime most seniors don't even realize is starving their leg muscles of the circulation they desperately need. The television glows, the remote rests in your hand, and the hours slip by. For many seniors, the evening routine includes catching up on news, watching dramas, or simply letting the TV play in the background until it lulls them to sleep. On the surface, it feels harmless, even restful. But here is the hidden danger. Prolonged sitting before bed quietly strangles circulation in your legs, starving muscle tissue of oxygen at the very moment it needs it most. Here's the physiology. When you sit for long periods, blood pools in the lower extremities. The calf muscles, often called the second heart, usually help pump blood back toward the chest with every step you take. But in stillness, that pumping action shuts down. Veins become sluggish, circulation slows, and tissues in the legs receive less oxygen. For younger bodies, recovery from this is quicker. But in seniors, where arteries are already stiffened and circulation is less efficient, those hours of immobility can severely blunt muscle repair overnight. By morning, the legs feel heavy, swollen, and weaker. I recall Mr. Cho, age 73, a retired accountant. He was puzzled by his constant leg swelling and the creeping weakness he felt each morning. "But doctor," he told me, "I walk every morning. I even try to eat healthy." What he didn't realize was that he spent 3 to 4 hours each evening in front of the television motionless before finally going to bed. His legs had effectively been deprived of fresh, oxygenated blood every night. Once we introduced a simple change, standing up every 30 minutes, stretching and replacing part of his TV time with light evening walks, his leg swelling diminished and his strength gradually returned. This is why I warn inactivity before sleep is not just relaxation, it is a hidden risk factor for muscle loss. Prolonged sitting reduces vascular flexibility, increases stiffness in arteries, and reduces the nutrients delivered to your muscles at their most crucial repair window. Imagine trying to water a garden through a clogged hose. That is what your muscles endure when circulation is restricted during the hours leading up to sleep. So, let me ask you, do you often sit for hours before bed, barely moving, thinking it's harmless? Do you notice that your legs feel heavier or that swelling appears around your ankles by morning? The culprit may not be age, it could be those very hours of stillness. And if lack of circulation shocked you, wait until you hear the next mistake. This one isn't about sitting or TV. It's about something many seniors skip entirely at night, something so vital that without it, the body simply cannot maintain muscle. I'm talking about protein, the building block of strength, and why missing it at bedtime accelerates frailty. Protein is the raw material your muscles depend on to stay strong. Without it, fibers cannot repair, rebuild, or maintain their size. Yet one of the most common mistakes I see in seniors is skipping protein at night. Many believe that dinner should be light, or they avoid protein in the evening because they worry it's hard to digest. Some even skip dinner altogether, thinking it will help them sleep better. But here's the critical truth: when you go to bed without protein, your muscles enter the night starved, and instead of building, they shrink. Here's the science. During sleep, your body naturally shifts into repair mode. Muscle protein synthesis, the process of stitching damaged fibers back together, peaks during the deep stages of rest. But this process requires amino acids, the building blocks of protein. Without them, the body has no choice but to break down its own muscle tissue to meet basic needs. Over time, this nightly deficit accelerates sarcopenia, leaving your legs weaker, your balance unstable, and your independence at risk. Take the case of Mr. Lee, age 69, a retired factory worker. He came to me complaining that his legs had grown thinner despite regular walking. He ate breakfast and lunch well, but often skipped dinner or chose only a piece of fruit before bed. "I don't want to feel heavy at night," he said. But the result was devastating. His body spent every night in a state of muscle breakdown. When we introduced a small protein-rich bedtime snack such as Greek yogurt or a boiled egg, his morning stiffness eased, and his leg strength improved noticeably within 3 months. The danger of skipping protein at night is magnified by age. After 60, the body's efficiency in using protein declines, a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. In plain terms, your muscles need more protein to trigger the same repair response younger people get. By withholding protein before bed, you're stacking the deck against your legs, giving them no chance to fight back against natural decline. Think about it. Have you noticed your thighs thinning or your pants fitting looser around the legs, even though your weight stays the same? That is a classic red flag of nighttime protein deficiency. You may not feel hungry when you go to bed, but your muscles are crying out for the fuel to rebuild. Now here's the unsettling part. Even if you do get enough protein during the day, there is another nutrient that can undo your muscles' chance at recovery when it's missing at night. Without it, cramps strike balance, falters, and frailty accelerates. I'm talking about magnesium, the forgotten mineral that plays a quiet but vital role in muscle strength. Magnesium is one of those minerals you rarely think about, yet your muscles depend on it every single night. It is responsible for hundreds of biochemical reactions in the body, but one of its most crucial roles is regulating how your muscles contract and relax. Without enough magnesium, your muscles misfire, stiffen, or cramp, robbing you of deep restorative sleep and leaving your legs weaker by morning. Here's the reality: magnesium deficiency is surprisingly common among seniors. As we age, our ability to absorb this mineral decreases, and many medications such as diuretics for blood pressure further deplete it. Add to this a diet heavy in processed foods which strip magnesium during manufacturing, and the result is widespread deficiency that goes unnoticed. You may not even realize it until your legs start telling you the truth. Twitching at night, calf cramps that jolt you awake, or morning weakness that makes getting out of bed a struggle. I remember Mrs. Collins, a 71-year-old retired librarian who came to me nearly in tears. "Doctor, every night my legs seize up like rocks," she said. "I can't sleep, and in the morning I'm so stiff I can hardly walk." She had tried stretching massages, even drinking more water. Nothing worked. When I checked her labs, her magnesium levels were alarmingly low. We adjusted her diet, adding leafy greens, nuts, and whole grains, and included a gentle magnesium supplement. Within weeks, her cramps eased, her sleep improved, and her legs felt stronger than they had in years. The connection here is simple but powerful. Magnesium helps muscles relax fully, prevents spasms, and supports the release of growth hormone during deep sleep. Without it, your body cannot achieve the muscle recovery it so desperately needs. Worse, magnesium deficiency can mimic other problems. Seniors may think their balance issues come from aging nerves or that morning stiffness is just arthritis. In reality, it can often be traced back to this single missing mineral. So let me ask you, do you ever wake at night with sudden leg cramps? Do your muscles feel tight or twitch without reason? If so, your body may be signaling a magnesium shortfall, and every night that deficiency continues, your muscles lose the chance to repair and rebuild. But here's the hopeful part: when you correct magnesium levels, the body responds quickly. Muscles relax, circulation improves, and the deep sleep needed for strength returns. Yet magnesium is not the end of this story, because even with perfect nutrients and habits, the final piece of the puzzle is creating a bedtime blueprint that ties it all together, a routine designed to protect your legs, restore strength, and keep you steady through the night. That's exactly where we're heading next. We've exposed sugar, salt, caffeine, alcohol, inactivity, skipped protein, and missing magnesium, all powerful factors that weaken your legs overnight. But now it's time to put everything together into what I call the safer bedtime blueprint. Think of this as your personal nighttime ritual, a structured plan that protects your muscle power while you sleep and restores the strength you need each morning. The blueprint begins with timing. Aim to finish your final meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. This prevents late-night insulin spikes and gives your body time to digest, freeing it to focus on muscle repair during sleep. Next, make protein the star of your evening. A small serving, such as Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a boiled egg, provides amino acids your muscles can use throughout the night. Pair it with magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, almonds, or a handful of spinach to ward off cramps and support relaxation. Equally important is what you avoid. No sugar-laden snacks, no salty instant noodles, and no caffeine after mid-afternoon. If you enjoy alcohol, limit it to earlier in the day and never right before bed. These simple omissions restore your body's ability to release growth hormone and maximize recovery while you sleep. But bedtime habits are more than food and drink. They also include movement. Instead of sitting motionless in front of the television for hours, consider a short evening walk, gentle stretching, or even standing up every 20-30 minutes to encourage circulation. Remember, blood is the delivery system for nutrients and oxygen. Without movement, your muscles go hungry even if you eat the right foods. Let me share the story of Mr. Harris, age 75, a retired high school principal. He felt his independence slipping. He couldn't stand up without bracing himself, and his legs shook when climbing stairs. His evenings were predictable: dinner at 7, 2 glasses of wine, and then 3 hours of television until bed. When I introduced him to the bedtime blueprint, his routine transformed. He replaced wine with chamomile tea, added a small protein snack, stood up every half hour during TV time, and stretched before sleep. Within 3 months, he reported fewer night cramps, more energy in the morning, and most importantly, the confidence to walk without fear of falling. This is the power of the bedtime blueprint. It addresses every hidden danger in a practical way. It doesn't require expensive supplements or extreme diets, just small, consistent adjustments that preserve muscle. So, let me leave you with this question. What would it mean to wake up tomorrow with steadier legs, stronger balance, and the confidence to move freely? That outcome is not reserved for the lucky. It's available to anyone willing to protect their nights as fiercely as their days. But before we close, let's step back, take a deep breath, and reflect on everything we've learned. In this final section, I'll recap the lessons, offer safe alternatives, and share an empowering farewell to guide you forward. We've taken a long, sometimes unsettling journey together, one that exposed how fragile leg strength can become after 60 and how easily small nighttime habits can accelerate weakness. But before we end, I want you to pause and remember this. Aging itself is not the enemy. The real danger lies in the silent choices that rob your muscles of the strength they deserve to keep. Tonight and every night you have the power to protect them. Think back to the stories we shared. Mrs. Hahn, whose nightly sweetened tea masked the reason her legs betrayed her in the hallway. Mr. Raymond, whose comforting cereal bowl sabotaged his carpenter's strength. Mrs. Alvarez, who thought her cramps were arthritis but discovered salt-laden noodles were the culprit. Mr. Thompson, whose green tea seemed healthy but blunted his recovery. Mrs. Lang, whose single glass of wine erased hours of repair. Mr. Cho, who sat still for hours before bed, starving his legs of circulation. Mr. Lee, who skipped protein and unknowingly forced his body to cannibalize its own muscle. Mrs. Collins, who suffered needless pain until magnesium was restored. And Mr. Harris, who regained his confidence by adopting the bedtime blueprint. Each of these stories reminds us weakness is not inevitable, it is preventable. The central message is clear. Your body changes as you age, and so must your habits. Protein synthesis slows, hormones shift, and recovery windows shrink. That means your nightly routine matters more now than ever before. The wrong snack, the wrong drink, the wrong posture before bed all can drain your strength without you realizing it, but the right choices can just as powerfully restore it. So what are those safer choices? Let me leave you with a simple list of alternatives. Choose protein before bed. A small portion of Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or boiled egg delivers amino acids to your muscles overnight. Add magnesium-rich foods, pumpkin seeds, almonds, leafy greens, or even a warm cup of magnesium-infused mineral water can reduce cramps and improve sleep. Switch to herbal teas, chamomile, rooibos, or peppermint provide relaxation without caffeine. Avoid alcohol near bedtime if you enjoy wine. Move it to lunchtime instead. Move gently before sleep. A 10-minute walk, light stretches, or simply standing up regularly in the evening keeps circulation flowing. End meals earlier. Finish dinner 2 to 3 hours before bed to let digestion settle and give your body time to focus on recovery. These are not radical changes. They are small, achievable steps that create a safer blueprint for your nights. And I want to reassure you, even if you've struggled with weak legs for years, it's never too late to start. Muscles are remarkably adaptable. When given the right nutrients, the right circulation, and the right rest, they respond quickly, even in your 70s or 80s. I've seen patients regain balance, rebuild confidence, and restore independence simply by changing their bedtime routines. You can too. So as we close, I invite you to see this not as a warning, but as an empowerment. Tonight, when you prepare for bed, remember every choice you make is a message to your body. Will you drain your muscles, or will you nourish them? Will you let age steal your strength, or will you guard it with wisdom? The power truly lies with you. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to leave 0. Your feedback means the world to me and helps shape the advice I share. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another health tip designed just for you. Remember, your legs carry not just your body, but your independence, your freedom, and your joy in life. Protect them, and they will protect you. Good night, my friends, and may your next step be steady, strong, and full of confidence.